Hello and welcome to, what day is it? Monday. Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic. I know I should know these things, but I often don't. And another trip to Sudoku Wonderland, this time in the company of the Dying Flutchman, who has come up with a puzzle called Parity Sums. And I love Parity in Sudoku, so I'm hoping that this will be everything that I think it might be. Testers say this is a brilliant puzzle, by the way, although not easy. And as usual with the Dying Flutchman, a very interesting rule set indeed. Dying Flutchman is always innovative. So I'll read you the rules in just a second. Couple of things to mention first. Yeah, I do have a couple of things to mention. Yeah, The Witness. If you enjoyed me live streaming my attempt to play through the game The Witness, then there is more of this coming your way. On Thursday night, I plan to have a go at something called the Music Box Challenge, which apparently is part of The Witness that I've not seen yet. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing. Thursday night, 10 o'clock UK time. Do join me. I'd love to have your company. Other than that, yeah, there's a few things we've got going on Patreon. If you've been doing the Lockout Lines Sudoku hunt that we released as our October monthly reward, just 2 days left to get your answers in and have a chance to win the Bubba Is You key. And on the 20th, we're going to be releasing this whole suite of Sudoku videos. It really is a tremendous treat for our patrons, because there are solution videos created by some of the great and good of the Sudoku world, talking through their puzzles from that hunt. So yeah, lots of fascinating things, and we're really looking forward to seeing your feedback. Also on Patreon, of course, we have Bataku's Euclidean Sudoku, which is this puzzle. Now, if you want to have a go at this puzzle, you absolutely can. You just go to the link under this video. There's a link under this video. You can play this puzzle. It has this mathematical rule set that refers to the Euclidean distance that you'll need to get your head around. But if you struggle with it, as indeed I did, then you can watch me struggle over on Patreon as well right now. There is a video. And speaking of the word Euclidean, I actually did quite well at the Times Crossword today, partly because of this clue here, 27 across. Learner in audience puzzled about classical geometry. And I just wrote this in. It had to be Euclidean. How did I know it was Euclidean? Well, it's because Euclidean has been on my mind, but also learner, when you see that in a Times Crossword, it's always the letter L. People in the UK will realise why that is. It's because basically learner drivers have to wear big L plates on their cars. So learner, L, in audience puzzled. Well, a puzzled audience means you have to sort of scramble the letters of the word audience. And if you do that properly, you can spell out the word Euclidean. So the L is from learner, and then the letters of audience, AUDIENCE, go round the edge, and we get a word that means about classical geometry, which is rather cool. And I've got one more crossword anecdote for you, because this blew my mind when I saw it yesterday. There is a US crossword solver by the name of Will Nediger, who has been getting faster and faster in the last couple of years. And he tweeted yesterday to say that he didn't think 15 minutes was an achievable time to complete the entire set of the New York Times crosswords in a week. So that is 7 crosswords, including the Sunday one, which is like, it's got about 2 or 3 times the entries of a normal entry. Anyway, he said he didn't think it was possible to do it in 15 minutes until last week, when he completed all 7 in 15 minutes 9 seconds. That is absolutely staggering. I haven't actually spoken to Mark about this yet, but I think he will be absolutely gobsmacked, because even if you do, a Monday or a Tuesday puzzle quickly, it's going to take 2 or 3 minutes. And it can't take 3 minutes, because then you're going to get to 21 minutes, let alone to do the Saturday puzzle in like 2 minutes as well. It's just, it beggars belief. It beggars belief, but I was very amused to see Eric Agard, who is a former US crossword champion, reply just with the letters WTF. What the fudge, indeed. Anyway, let's get on with Parity Sums by Dying Flutchman, and I'll read you the rules. We have got normal Sudoku rules apply. In the finish grid, every cell will be part of a group of orthogonally connected cells that share the same parity, i.e. an odd or an even group. Such a parity group can be as small as a single cell, or large enough to span multiple boxes and include repeating digits. Okay. Corner clues, that's probably these that have got the numbers in them. Corner clues give the sum of all cells in the parity group containing that cell. Corner clues give the sum of all cells in that. Right, so if this 22 was an even group, I don't know, it could look like that, I suppose. I don't really know what it could look like, but perhaps it could look like that. Black dots separate cells with a 1. Oh, excuse me. My cough still isn't quite better. Black dots separate cells with a 1:2 ratio. Okay, so that means if that square was a 2, for example, this square would have to be a 1 or a 4 in order that one of the cells was double the other one. There's another black dot there. Not all possible black dots are given. Right, let's just take a pause for a breath here and just think about this then. So we have to divide the whole grid such that these totals are telling us exactly. Oh, I see. So if this was an even group adding to 22, then the cells around it would have to be odd, because if those cells added to 22, let's make them blue. If that square was even as well, then it would have to be included in the group because it would be orthogonally connected. Yeah, orthogonally, by the way, if you're new to the channel, you may not know this. Orthogonally means connected along an edge, a long edge. So these are diagonally connected. They are not orthogonally connected. Those two are orthogonally connected. Anyway, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. So, how do we get cracking? 87. Good grief. So that's an odd group because it adds... oh, yeah, okay. Okay, so maybe we start with that simple observation, and I'm going to impart a knowledge bomb on you here. That knowledge bomb is that if I add even digits together, it doesn't matter how many I add up or which even digits I choose, I will add the sum total will be an even digit. So that means all of these totals that add up to odd numbers must be an odd collection of... Well, they must be specifying an odd collection of digits in the grid. Now, I'm meant to use orange for odd, aren't I? Because, of course, I say of course, but this is complete nonsense reason, but this is the reason. Because O begins orange and O begins odd. So this is the logic that we bring you. So let me just think about this. Yeah, okay, so we can't say anything about the even groups because I can make odd numbers add up to even digits if there are an even number of odd digits that I'm adding up. Try saying that fast, nori nori. So probably we have to start with the odd groups then. The 87. So what can we say about the 87? It's got to take, I mean, it's going to be a huge number of cells. And yeah, I mean, it does actually have to be, it's certainly got to visit a lot of boxes, and I know that because of a subset of the secret. So sometimes we tell people the secret on Cracking the Cryptic, and the secret is that in any box of a Sudoku, if you correctly fill it in, the digits you've put in the box will add up to 45, because it'll be the numbers from 1 to 9 once each. Now, let's think about this in the context of parity. If we were looking at this box, the odd digits in this box would add up to 25. 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9 is 25. The even digits add up to 20. 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8. So when we see 87 here, even if we took all the odd digits from these three boxes, that would only add up to 75. Because it would be 25 times 3. So this clue must visit at least 4 boxes of this puzzle. Yeah, okay, but I don't think I even know that this is even, do I? Because I would know that if the 87 went to either of those cells, then this must be even, because if it's odd, all it's doing, it should have the same total as the 87. If this is odd and this is odd and they're connected, they should have the same total. But the 87 could perhaps duck down there, or even go along there. Oh, right, okay, I'm not on the right lines here. The 23 in the corner. Not 3 in the corner, 23 in the corner, so it doesn't get a song. That's 23 in the corner. No. Well, okay, this one I can do. This one I can do. I know what the parity of the 40 is, because the 23 either comes this way or this way. So one of these two squares at least is orange, and therefore this square must be even, and therefore it's blue. I think that's a normal division of parity that we go for. So this is an even collection of digits adding up to 40, and this is an odd collection of digits adding up to 23. But that 23 can't... I was going to say it can't connect to the 87, so it can't take too many cells in row 9. Yeah, but actually we might be better thinking about this. Yeah. Okay, this is interesting already, actually. How does this 23 exist in the puzzle? Because we know that it can't take... Well, firstly we know it's odd. Therefore, the region that we're going to build this 23 out of must be an odd number of odd digits. So this region that we're going to build this into contains 1, 3, 5, 7 or 9 digits, or, you know, obviously some of those are nonsense. For example, this is not a 1-cell region. I can't write 23 into this cell, or I could do, but then I would get the puzzle wrong. So now, if this took 5 digits, and all of those digits were in this box, we know that those 5 odd digits would add up to 25, so that's not correct. And if it took 4, well, if it can't take 4 digits from the box, because then it wouldn't add up to an odd number. And it can't take 3 digits from the box only, because then it won't add up to 23, because 9 plus 7 plus 5 is 21. So this needs to take a digit from outside box 9. And it can't get out of box 9 in these two cells, because it will connect to the 87. So this must go up. I think it's got to take that square. That's my gut reaction. So it's got 4 digits in box 9. Its 5th digit cannot be in box 9, because then this would add up to 25. And it needs a 5th digit, because otherwise it doesn't add up to 23. So it must be that cell. Now, does it necessarily stop here is the question. I'm actually wondering whether it could be 7 digits. So if these were minimum, these would add up to 16, which is 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7, I think. So 16, then either this could be a 7 on its own, or could it be 3 cells that sum to 7? If they're all odd. Because 1 plus 3 plus 5 adds to 9. Oh, unless we can repeat a digit. No, you can't make a collection of 3 digits starting here that where you can repeat a digit. Because if you take those 3 cells, these all have to be different. If you have 3 cells in box 6, they all have to be different. So this is right. So this is quite complicated, but I think we've established the 23 region is a 5. Right, it's a 5-cell region. So no other odd digit can now attach orthogonally to this region. So every orthogonal connection is even. And we get a massive... Right, 14. I can't write 14 into that cell, so that's even. Now I've done all the evens in box 6. That's 4 evens, 2, 4, 6 and 8 in some order. So those squares must all be odd. Yes, okay, and we know that the 4 evens add up to 20, so that must be a 6. Because we know that 20 minus 14 is 6. So these are 2, 4 and 8. I'm absolutely prepared to pencil mark that. 6 must be in this domino here, in box 9. So 6 is in one of those 3 squares. Ooh, I don't like that. I can't actually see that. I can't actually see this number now. Okay, we'll try and remember there's a 6 up here. Right, and so far this is absolutely gorgeous. So, right, okay, that's 25, that's 20. So these can't connect, so this must be even. 12, if this was odd, it would be connected to a 25 odd region, and therefore they can't have the same number, so that's even. Okay, so does that connect here and make a... If those 3 cells are connected, that would be it. They would have to add up to 12, because we couldn't add a 4th even digit without them adding up to 20. You can't... Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I can see this 12 is not a 2-cell region, because if it's a 2-cell region, it has to be that domino. And the only way of making 2 even digits add to 12 is 4 and 8. And that's going to make this cell into a Schrödinger cell. This square would simultaneously have to be 4 and 8, because this is a 2, 4, 8 triple. So this 12... okay, this 12 is a 3-cell region, and what's the simpler way we could have done all this is to count the number of even digits in column 8, which I've only just noticed. There are 4 even digits placed, so that cannot be even, that's odd. And now this square cannot be even, because it's odd, and the 12 therefore can't do that, so the 12 must do this. And now these add up to 12, so these 2 must be odd. One of these is even. Oh, no, keep the 22 and the 25 apart, so this one is not odd, so that's even. That's odd. Right, the 25 has to grow, because at the moment it's 4 cells, and if these 4 cells added up to 25, this square would have to be a 0, because the 5 even digits, we know in box 3 add up to 25, if you add all of them up. 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9. So this extends. Now, does this... Now, can this one extend more cells? Again, I'm tempted to say that's probably unlikely, but we know that this region must have an odd number of odd digits. So if it does extend, it extends 2 more cells. So if we minimize these, we get 16. Oh, no, that's bad. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's possible. If these added up to 16, then I could take 3 cells in box 2 with 1, 3 and 5, although probably they can't all be in row 1 because that's going to give too many odd digits in the row. But maybe that would be possible. And then we could make them add up to 25, so that is bobbins worthy. Right, but that's an 8, because again, if we know 3 of the even digits in a box add to 12, the other one must be the balance between 20 and 12. This square must be a 2 or a 4. The 22 region, maybe that's easier to think about. So this has a minimum value of 16 again. So again, we've I don't know actually. I know this is 5 digits, so it's either 5 digits or 7 digits. We know this can't be a 3 now, because if this is a 3, those 4 cells would add up to 22. Because of the number of because of the value of odd digits in the box, and then this square would have to be a 0. So that's not a 3. And it's not a 1, because if it's a 1, those add up to 24, and then that would have to be a -2. So this square here is 5, 7, or 9. Now, if this is 5, these... Whoa, right, if this is 5, these add up to 20, and then I'd need... Oh, hang on, no, I'm going crazy. I've done my parity wrong. I think I said this had to be 5 or 7, because for some reason I was thinking about it in terms of the 25 parity, but this is an even number. So this has to grow by one more cell. Whoa, okay, let me just double check the logic that I've just been... Have I ruined... No, the logic I was doing was correct in terms of ruling out a 1 and a 3 from these. That's still correct, but what is not correct is when I said that this region had to either be a 5 or a 7 cell region. That is nonsense. In fact, it's got to be a 6 or an 8 cell region because it's an odd region that adds to an even number. So it's still got to grow by at least one more cell. So if this was a 5, these would add to 20, and you'd have to add 2 1s onto the region. That could be 1, 1, and then you'd have to put a 1 in one of those cells. If this is a 7, these would add up to 18. You'd need to add 4. So that would have to be a 1 and a 3 in some. So there could be a 1 or a 3 here, and then a 1 or a 3 in one of those 3 cells. And if this is a 9, these would add up to 16, and you'd have to add 6 more in 2 cells. You couldn't add 6 more in 4 cells. So it's this cell and then one of these cells again. Okay, I'm getting stuck, aren't I, and bogged down. Okay. How do we make more progress? I don't know if I can do stuff with these regions. I'm not feeling very confident about it, actually. This is a 6-8 pair. I just realised that by Sudoku. So that square's not an 8. So maybe it's Sudoku that's our friend, although I hesitate to say that when we've only got 2 given digits or 2 digits placed in the grid, not given, hard earned, I should say. So this 40 region, 40, even if it took all the even digits in a box, it would still need 2 complete boxes worth of even digits to get to 40. Right, and this domino here, look, that's got an interesting property in the sense it's 1 even and 1 odd digit, because we've got 4 odds in the column and 3 evens, so there should be 1 more even and 1 more odd in this purple domino. Now it's probably the case, this is probably famous last words, but it feels to me more likely that the 40 is going to come down to the bottom and sort of escape underneath the 87. So if this escapes... Oh no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Okay, fair enough. Whoops. This is beautiful. There's some beautiful logic here, but it has made a bit of a fool out of me. Right, why is this not even? That's the question we need to ask. Well, it's because this square becomes odd as a result of keeping the parity numbers correct in column 7. So we need 5 odd digits, so this must be odd. But now look what happens. I've got to get loads more digits in my 40 region. How am I going to get them? Well, the critical thing is I can take 2 digits here, but then I can't take any more digits in row 9 because I've already done my 4 even digits by the time I reach this cell. So my next digit would have to be that digit. And can you see the problem? What about this 87? Well, the 87 would have to go there, and now this 10 has a big problem because it can't be even and it can't be odd either. Because if it's even, it connects to the 40. If it's odd, it connects to the 87. So it should have the same clue as one of those digits. And here is a knowledge bomb. 10 is not the same number as 40, and it is not the same number as 87. So this is why I think we've made a bit of a... Well, we haven't made the ricket, but that would have been a ricket if we'd done the logic going down here. So this square is the even. This is the odd. I was about to connect that. Is it necessarily the case that connects out? Can that be even? I don't know, actually. Maybe it can be. There's nothing against having a... a one cell region. I think it actually said that in the instructions. Yeah, it can be as small as a single cell, so maybe I can't assume that connection. Bother. Right, so what do we do next? We have got... Right, well now the 40 region, this square is a 2 or a 4, so the 40 region has got 26 in it. So it needs more. So now do we know that this is... If we knew that was even, we'd know that was odd. If this is odd, the 87 has to steer clear of it, so the 87 would have to go down. Right, here is a small piece of logic that might be interesting. That square can't be odd, because if this square is odd, now our 40 region is forced into a cul-de-sac. It's forced to take this square, and more importantly, it's also forced to take this square, because it can't, we can't make this square big enough. We can't make this square 14. So we've got to keep going. So it's going to have to take that. And now the 10 is connected to the 40, and they don't have the same number again. So that's wrong. So this square here must be even. I still don't know what this 10 is doing. No, I'm not. I don't know. Oh, bother. Bother. So maybe we've got to think about the 23 then. Did we think? I think I thought about the 23 at the start. So the 23, these squares, if these are 16, that would be 9. Oh no, that wouldn't be 9. If these were 16. Oh, yeah, okay, that's an interesting point. This cannot be 9. Because if that's the minimum I can make these 4 squares add up to is 16. 1, 3, 5 and 7. If you add... Oh no, hang on, that's nonsense. If I keep thinking this is like killer Sudoku, where I can't repeat a digit. So I thought if I made that 1, 3, 5, 7, I can't make this 9 because that adds up to 25. But if I make this 1, 3, 5, 7, I could make this a 7 and that would work. Ah! Oh, but the point, yeah, okay, let's think about it the other way round then. Can this be a 9? That's a more sensible question. No is the answer. Because if that's a 9, the minimum I can make those squares add up to is 16, and that would give me 25. So you have to do it that way round. You can't do it by looking at this and saying that could add up to 16, therefore this can't be a 9. Well, you can really, actually. You can. It's just a total thing, but I think I'm getting confused with killer Sudoku in my head. Ah! Anyway, this can't be a 9. That's got to be 5 or 7. That is for sure. However we do it. Now, what do we do next? So if this is 5 or 7, these squares are adding up to 20 or 18. So if that's oh no, that's wrong. I've done it again there. I keep thinking about these in terms of when that's not 5, that means these have to be the other odd digits. That's just not true. If this is 5, these add up to 18, and this would have to be a 7, because the odd digits overall in box 9 add up to 25. If this is 7, these add up to 16, and that has to be a 9. So actually the relationship between these two cells is that this one is 2 more than this one. Right, let's see if this propagates then. So the 22 clue, if this is 5, these add up to 20, and we'd have to add 2 1s to the 22 clue. So that would be a 1, and then 1, and if that's a 1, the other one would have to be in one of those 2 cells, because you couldn't double 1 along there. If this is 7, on the other hand, these add up to 18. These add up to 18, so this one and one more cell need to add up to 4. which would have to be a 1-3 pair, because we couldn't do sort of, no, it has to be a 1-3 pair. There is no other way of doing that. So this square is a 1 or a 3, but then if that was a 1, that could be a no. So I don't think I get a pencil mark in column 6 here without it being a very spurious one. I know that the accompanying digit to this 1-3 is a 1 or a 3, but it's in one of those 3 positions, which is not very easy to do. If I do that, it sort of looks a bit strange. So does that have an effect on this then? So if this is 1, these add up to 24. Oh! Those two are the same digit, aren't they? Yeah, because if that's a 3, these add up to 22, and then this digit here has to be a 3 in order to get to 25. There's no way we can make two odd digits add up to 3. So these 2 digits are the same. Ah, yeah, and I think more important than that, this region is a 5-cell region because it gets completed by this 1 or 3, so those 2 squares are even. This is brilliant, isn't it? It's just brilliant. And you can almost feel, I don't know if you have this impression as well, you can almost feel how the puzzle was created, because we've not really yet, I haven't even looked at this 35 clue or these Kropke dots or this 16 clue. It's very much been, a building exercise off the right hand side. So we probably have to sweat this right hand side as hard as we can. Yeah, okay, here's something. The 22 region, we know grows by 1 more cell. That means that exactly one of these 3 cells is odd, and the other 2, therefore, must be even. But that's going to complete our quota of even cells in column 6 by the time we get down here. We're going to have 1, 2, and 2 of these. So those 3 are all odd. And that gets me this one. So this was odd. I didn't need to worry about this. But I think if I'd just put it in, people would have commented angrily. Right, so now the 10 clue can't be odd, so that's got to be even. Now the 10 clue can't connect to the 40 clue, so that's got to be odd. Now I feel like I've got a problem in box 8. Because Yeah, okay, this is quite interesting, I think. I've got to put in 3 more even digits into those cells in box 8. But I've also got to get the 87 out. The 87 has to get out, otherwise it's going to be too small. So, yeah, so we can't create a wall like this. And we can't connect the 10 to too many other digits. Yeah, in fact, if we think about this, we can't even connect the 10 to 3 digits. If this 10 takes 3, if there are 3 even digits connected in this box, what's the minimum they would add up to? 2 plus 4 plus 6 is 12. So this 10, which must take another digit, because you can't put 10 into this box of the Sudoku, so it's got to take another cell. Yes, okay, another way to think about this is, can this square be even? The answer is no. Because if this square is even, to get the 87 out, you've got to take those 2, and now all 4 of those are even in the box, and 4 cells add up to 20. So this square is not even, it's odd. And now this square must be even, because you can't just write 10 into this square. And now we've got a problem. Well, not a problem, we've got a solution. This square we've just worked out can't be even, because 3 even cells connected would add up to more than 10 if they're all different digits, and they would be. So that's got to be odd, but I've still got to put 2 evens in the box, so they have to go at the bottom. And now that square's got to be odd, because the 87's got to touch at least 4 boxes, and we've only reached a quota so far of 3, and we haven't really touched this box with more than a sort of just a gentle pat. Okay, so What have we learned from all of these shenanigans? The answer is I haven't got a Scooby-Doo. Does this 40... Oh, the 40 must have to grow. How much does the 40 have to grow? It's 26 at the moment. So it's definitely got to take... It's got to take one more cell at least. If that was 6 and 8, 14, that would be enough. Bother. Right, so it could get away with being a 6-8 pair. 6 plus 8 plus 6 is 20, plus another 20 is the 40 that we're looking for. Oh, so is it the Kropki dot now? Oh, yes, it is. I thought the Kropki dot was just going to be disambiguator at the end. I don't think it is. Because how do we make a black Kropki dot work? Well, it's always got an even digit on it. There's no way of making a black Kropki dot without an even digit. And possibly 2 even digits, although that's clearly not possible here, because if this is a double blue, we've got 5 even numbers in row 5, and that won't work. So this is either 1, 2, or 3, 6. One of them is even, completing our even quota for the row, so those are odd. Oh, that's a bit disappointing. Okay. Ah. Yeah, okay, but row 4 is now cluttered, isn't it? Because I need to put 4 evens in row 4. And I can't make these 3 evens, because then I'd have 5 evens in box 5. So there's a maximum of 2 evens in those 3 cells, so those 2 squares are even. So this is either 2, 4 or 4, 8, which means it does have a 4 on it. That doesn't actually affect that cell, though. Yeah, but these... Yeah, okay, but let's keep going with this. So there are 2 evens by force in these 3 cells, and that completes the number of even cells in box 5. So these must be odd. And therefore this square is not a 2 or a 6. So this is a 1 or a 3, and this is a 2 or a 6. Which means it's even. Okay, is that good or not? That's the question. The answer is I don't know. Or at least I don't think I know. Let's have a think about this. The 87... How does this 87 work? Do we now know the parity of the 16 clue? Yes, we do actually. The 87 has to touch 4 boxes, so it's got to get to this box at least. And therefore to get to this box it must bypass the 16 either here or here. So there is an odd cell in one of those 2 cells at least, therefore this square must be even. So there's a 16 here. Oh, this is lovely. Right, the 16 is not the same as a 10, so that's odd. So the 10 is a 2-cell region that's either 4, 6 or 2, 8. 4, 6 or 2, 8. Can we do that? Don't think so. Okay, so the 16 could join up like that perhaps or something. No, hang on, I've got to complete the even quota for row 8, so those are even. This is, right, whoa, I might have broken this. No, I thought I'd broken it, but I haven't, I think. These 3 cells, obviously, well, they add up to something. Is it possible that there is another even cell in any of those cells? No, because if there was, this would add up to 20, because it would be all the even digits in box 7. So those 3 are all odd. That must be the last even cell. But now does that... Is it really possible that that's even now? I don't know, is the truth. I don't know. Right, but the 87 has to keep growing. I just love this. This has got to come out to here now. So the 87 comes out to here. So this is a domino, one odd, one even. And if the 16 was just 3 cells, this would be a 4. And if the 16 grew, it could grow by exactly 1 cell. And this could be 2, 4, 6, and then repeating a 4. That might be tricky with this. Let me just think about this for a second. I think there might be a problem with that logic. Let me just think about this for a second or two. If this has got, I don't know, I feel like that I want to be able to conclude that this square here is not even. But I'm not sure I can. If this was 2, 4, 6, which is the minimum it could be, 2, 4, 6 here would be 12, wouldn't it? So this would have to be a 4, because it couldn't be a double 2. But that would seem to mean I couldn't put a 4 up there. Is there a way of doing this, making these add up to 14 then? What about 8, 4, 2 and repeating the 2? That would work. So those would be 2s then, and that... Okay, bother. Right, so I can't necessarily assume that this square here is orange. Okay, so we're going to have to find something else. What is the other thing we need to find? That's the question. Oh, okay, where does 6 go in box 4? It's not there, so it must be here. That's beautiful. That gets me a 3 here. Gets me a 6 in one of those cells. Now, interesting. The 40 clue, I think I concluded that this could stay at this length if this was a 6-8 pair. Well, this is not a 6-8 pair anymore. So if this is not a 6, because you can't put a 6 in it, so the maximum this could be would be 12, plus 6 is 18, plus 20 is 38. That's not enough, so this must grow. But didn't the 22 have to take... Yeah, no, well, it does. The 22 definitely has to take another cell, especially as we've got 4 even digits now in column 6. So that's odd. We know that this is an odd total. I think this had to take one more cell. That was what I think we got to. We know it's an odd total, so it must have an even number of odd digits, which it now does. So if it keeps extending... 20 or 18, no, it gets too big. Right, so that's the end of it. It stops right there. Okay, that's good. That's good, but I don't know if we've quite cracked this yet. Do we know whether this extends or not? What's the minimum number that these 3 squares could add up to? 2, 4, they could be 2, 4, 6, couldn't they? That's not enough. Okay. I know there's an 8 in one of those cells because this square can't be an 8. I know there's a 6 in one of these 3 cells. Okay. Still don't know what to do. Can we do anything more with parity then? Have we got a row or a column with sufficient odd or even digits that we can colour them in? The answer I don't think I can do that. So, what do we do next? I really don't know. I'm sure there's something, but I'm not sure whether we have to sort of relate back to what we were doing earlier, or we have to think about other things. We've got 4 odd digits in column 3 at the moment, so 2 of these cells are even. Oh, I know one thing we know. The 22 clue, one of the things I was worried about there was a double 1. Well, those can't be double 1 now, because they're in the same row of the Sudoku. So hang on a minute. If that was 5, those would be 20 and you'd need double 1. So this is 7. These add up to 18, which means that we need a 1-3 pair. That's 2 more than that, so that's a 9. 9 must be in this domino. 9 must be in one of those 3 positions in box 5. 7 must be in... where does 7 go? In box 3. I know there's a 7 in one of those cells by Sudoku, so that must be a 7 at the top of the grid. These add up to 18, these add up to 4. It's still not good enough, is it? Oh no. If this was orange, this would have to add up to 16. That would be a 4. If this is blue, what do we then know about the world? This would be a 2 or an 8, because it couldn't be a 4. So if this is a 2 or an 8, is there a problem with the world? Clearly it can't be an 8, because 8 plus 3 different even digits is going to be too high. So this has to be a 2, and what we're looking to rule out is 2 here repeating. And these squares being a 4-8 pair. Yeah, which seems to break that cell, doesn't it? So maybe that's how we have to do it. Let's just have a think about that again. If this blue extends to here, now the options for oh, cough coming again. The options for this square are 2, 4 or 8, but it can't be 4 because the 4's up here. So it's 2 or 8. If we put 8 here, these 3 squares would have a minimum value of 2, 4 and 6, so we break the 16 total. So this would be a 2 for sure. This is now a 4, 8 pair. These squares have got to add up to 14. Now, what are the ways of doing that? So we can't have 8 and 6 in here. If we have 8, we've got to have 4 and 2. And that's the only way of doing it. If we have 6, 4, 2, it's not enough. So this would have to be 8, 4, 2. You'd have to put a 2 there. And now this is a 4, 8 pair and this has no value. So I don't think this works, although it's a bit complicated to see why. And that means that this square is orange, and therefore that square is blue. These 3 squares add up to 16, so this is a 4. Adding up to 16 means they are 2, 6 and 8. Now 2 is locked into one of those 2 squares in box 8, row 9. And this is a domino adding up to 10. So that's got to be 4, 6 now, because we know there's a 2 down there. So that's 2, 8. That gives us this digit. That's an 8. That's a 6. That's an 8 by Sudoku. This is a 2, 6 pair, which seems to do some stuff over there. Is this broken? No, I don't think it is. I think it is. We are still alive. That's got to be a 2 or a 4. Okay, we're still alive, and we've got to... That's no longer an 8. That doesn't unfortunately mean that this square can't be a 4, because we could still be pairing up the 2 with the 4 here. Aha! So 8 is in one of those squares. There's a 2, 8 pair up here. So 8 is in one of these squares. And we've still got more work to do in terms of so much of this puzzle. Well, we've got 1, 3 pair here, so this is 5, 7 and 9 to complete column 6. That square can't be a 9. These must be a 1, 3 pair, so this is a 5, 7 or a 9. And I've got a bit bogged down, haven't I? I think it was going quite well, and now I'm really starting to struggle. Okay. So, simple deduction, which I should have seen immediately. These two squares can't be connected, because that would connect the 35 to this one, which, believe it or not, is part of that 87 region. So that's got to be blue. I suspect some people have been cross with me about that, but I didn't see it. So now this is orange to complete our quota of oranges for this box. This 35 must come out. That fixes the 8, believe it or not, because 8 is not odd. So that square becomes an 8 and therefore acquires even status. Oh, in fact, that's now 5 odds in this column, so that becomes even. And we know its value, it's 2. So there's a 2 in this domino, a 2 here. There must be a 2 in this domino. Whoa, whoa, whoa. 2 in one of those two squares. I've got four evens in row 2, so the rest of this is odd. So maybe it's the 35 now. Yeah, here's something simple. If the 35 doesn't take this square, so if this square's even, you can't get to 35, because you're only picking up cells from box 1, which can give you 25 odds, plus this square here, which can't be a 10. So that square there must be odd. Now we might be able to run that argument the other way. So if this square is even, oh, you're picking up 5, 7 and 9 here. In fact, they are 5, 7 and 9. That's got to be blue, because we've now got our quota of odds in box 2. So these squares are 5, 7 and 9. 21. Those two squares, they can be 5 and 9. And that would give you 14. So you don't know what this is. Oh, maybe we can do it the other way then. Maybe this can't be orange. If that's orange, these would have a minimum value of 16. 16 and 21 is too high. Good grief. Right, so I was completely on the wrong track. This square here has got to be blue. Otherwise you get too high a total. That gives us our 4 blues in column 2. So this has got to be orange. We've now got all of the things. So this square should be orange, and we've done our colouring. Wow. It's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. Right, I can see some Sudoku that we can do here. There's a 4 in one of these cells, which means there's a 4 in one of these cells. Now that means this is not a 4, but it's also not a 2 or an 8. So that square's a 6. That must be the 4. That must be a 2. That must be a 4. Is this going to collapse now? That would be very. It might do actually. 8. I've not done anything other than just fill in some digits there. So this is a 2, 4 pair. This square here is an 8. That's an 8. That's a 2. That's a 2. That's a 4. That's a 4. That's a 6. That square there is now a 6. So this is a 2, 4, 8 triple. The 4 in it's got to go at the bottom. The 2 has to go here. That's an 8. That's an 8. That's a 2. Ta-da! Wow. The 35, I said that had to be a 5. Yeah, that does. I've got 21 there. I need 14 more in two odd cells. So that's a 5, 9 pair. Which gives me this digit's a 7. This must be a 1, 3 pair. Desperately scanning to see if I can improve upon that, but I can't see how to do that immediately. Okay. So have we done all of the maths we can do? So I think we've just got to focus now on the odds, because everything else is done. And we've got to work out whether or not that square's got to be a 5 or a 9, just to complete row 8. How many odds have we actually got? We've got a 3. Is that it? No, we've got a 7. We've got some 7s. Oh, and a 9. And a 3. And that's it. Wow. Okay, 3 in this box has to be in this domino. So 3's in one of those 3 cells. 7. 7's got to be in this domino, which places 7 in box 5. So that's not a 7. Don't really see how to take that much further. These squares are 1, 5 and 9 in some order. Oh, no, that's actually bizarrely helpful. So the question we could have asked is, where does the 3 go in this column? Yeah, we can ask that. It's got to go there. That's 3. That's 1. Doesn't actually resolve very much, though. So that's famous last words. Bother. Okay, can we do more maths? I know those two are the same, don't I? I know what that is, but that just means I know these squares are up to 18. No, I've done it again there. That being a 7 does not mean they add up to 18. They add up to 16 to make 23. And then 16 plus 9 gives me the 25 for the box. Oh, that's a 9, so that's a 5. There we go. So that's a 9. So these squares here are 1s, 3s and 7s. And that's not 7. So I've now found a 1, 3 pair in the row, so that is 7 now. Good grief. And that means that's a 5. That's a 7. And this should be a 9. Okay, good. These squares down here are 1, 3 and 5. It's still very much not done. I want to get this digit so I can get that digit somehow. How do we make more progress here? 9. Oh, yeah, hang on. Look, where does 9 go in this box? It's got to go in this domino, and that's looking at that square. So that's a 5, that's a 9. Is that going to be crucial? 5 is now forced in box 6, so this is not a 5 anymore. These squares are now 1, 3, 9, triple, and that is not 9. And this one we don't know, and this one we don't know. How are these going to get disambiguated? I say that in all seriousness because I sort of feel like we're reaching the limits of where Sudoku is going to take me here. I think there must be some more maths we can do. What about the 87? Oh, we actually... Right, yeah, let's have a look at the 87 because we actually know exactly its composition now. We've got all 5 digits in box 5 and all 5 digits in box 8. So that's 50, 59 for that one. Ah, I know what those 4 are, look, because I've got a 5 in the box. So that's another 20. So that's 79. So I need 8 more. So this has got to be a 1. Whoa, okay, good. Well, that does get me some more digits, which are very welcome. I've now got a 3-5 pair in the corner over there. I've got some tidying up I can do in these cells. Although it's still not done. These are 1s, 7s and 9s. Let's put those in and see if we can tidy anything up again. I can get rid of 9 from that one. Oh no. Oh, right. 3 here. Where does 3 go in box 3? Only in one of the corner cells. Now that's aligning, look, with where the 3s are in box 2. So the 3 in row 2 is in one of those cells only. Okay, that's useless. 1, 3, 9. This is a 5 or a 7, just to complete the row. 3, 5, 7. I think we're going to end up with something Mark would appreciate, which is a fully pencil-marked grid any moment here. I'm very shocked, though, that I've not been able to well, not very shocked. It's not an immense surprise that I haven't spotted what to do next, but I do feel like I ought to have done. Yeah, the 3 can be in one of those squares. Right, I think we're going to have to go for it. These have got to be 1, 5 and 9, and we are going to end up with a fully pencil marked grid. So this digit here, that's restricted. Right, that's an interesting cell actually. This cell here actually sees 9 and 7 and the 3 that we got pencil marked there, so that's 1 or 5. Which definitely feels more restricted than I thought it was. I'm not sure what we can do with it though. We've got, oh goodness me, 1, 3, 5, 7. I don't believe these cells look awful. I think they can be anything. Is that right? Oh, I'm very sorry about that. I think that that is correct. They seem to be able to be anything. So what have we missed? We must have missed something. What can we do here to have we got some sort of weird pattern? Have we got a skyscraper or an X-wing? Let me stare. I wouldn't it be awful if I can't do this now, because I won't guess. You know that if you've been following the channel for any amount of time, I will not guess. I abhor guessing. And that's exactly, if you were in a competition, you could just finish this in 5 seconds, or probably less than 30, just by guessing now, switching to pencil and then switching to pen if that went wrong. Something going on there, is there? Not quite. 9. So if this is 1, that's 7. If that's 9, it's we get a 1 or a 5 in those positions. It's not quite good enough. Where are you, you little thing? There must be something here that we can spot. I want to use this digit. I feel like that digit was hard earned. Ooh, yeah, blimey. Right, that actually does a lot of damage. Okay, look at these 3 squares. I just noticed those there. I looked at that one, and then you can see that's a bent triple on 1, 5 and 7. If these were all in the same column of the Sudoku, we'd instantly say, we can eliminate 1s, 5s and 7s from the rest of the column. And you can almost do that here, because the thing to do here is to think about the mid-cell of the bent triple. If this... oh dear, I'm going to have a coughing fit again. If this is a 5, this square's a 1. If this is a 7, this square's a 1. So whatever this is, you end up with a 1 in one of those 2 cells. But that's really beautiful. Well, especially for these 2 cells, which can no longer be 1s, because there's either a 1 here, or a 1 here, or both of these have a 1. So we can remove 1s from those cells, and look, we get digits. That's a 9, that's a 7, that's the 1. That's a 5, that's a 1, that's a 9. That's a 5. Yeah. 7, 5, 1, 3. I'll try and finish the puzzle before I cark it. 1, 5 here. This is a 3, 1, 9. 3, 1. 1, 5. Okay, so we can remove 1 and 5 from these, and we get 3. Alright, so we get 7, 3, 9. If it goes wrong now, I am going to cry. 3 and 5 at the bottom. We've filled in the grid. We can click tick. Yay, we've done it. What a brilliant puzzle. It's another long video, but I make few apologies about that. There's some quite difficult logic in this puzzle, and you have to keep very much on track. Well, you have to keep on top of the uses of the parity and the sort of the sub-secrets, if you like, of the numbers 25 and 20. It's a beautiful, beautiful puzzle. I love the way you could envisage the way that Dying Flutchman had developed it by working from these columns outwards and to the left of the grid. Seriously clever stuff. Let me know how you got on in the comments. I do enjoy them, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.